Welcome to the BamCam podcast with your hosts, Adrian and Alison Castellano. I'm Patrice Sikora. It's good to meet you folks. I'm here because Wendy, your usual co-host, is a little under the weather, and from what you're telling me, you folks are too.
Yeah, we have two little ones in daycare, and who knows what we have. Some kind of daycare bug. And,
As Allison's doctor said, something is certainly going around right now.
Yeah. So,
but you don't need to
we've
share.
been flu tested and COVID tested, and those came back negative. So we're here.
We're in the other category. We don't know exactly what it is. I caught it first. I've actually recovered quite well, except for, I guess you can guess the one thing that's still lingering.
A little bit here, maybe.
My voice.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But otherwise, I feel fantastic. Allison is maybe a couple of days behind me. So I'm thinking that her voice is going to sound like mine in a couple of days.
Oh, wow.
Good luck.
Thanks. I'll probably need it.
Okay.
So.
Well, I hope you guys drink plenty of fluids, and get some rest. But with two little ones, that rest part's going to be a little tough, too.
That's tricky, too.
We will try our best.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you want to tackle today?
Well, kind of along the same lines, we're going to keep talking about daycare. We're going to talk about something that many young families eventually face at some point, and that's the daycare transition. And full disclosure, we haven't even made it to that milestone yet.
Yeah, we fully immersed ourselves in the daycare experience by getting sick. Our oldest child just turned 3, and our youngest is only 6 months old. So obviously safe to say we're a little ways away from that daycare transition, where we're going to transition from daycare to public schools. We've seen this transition, though, happen for many other families, and we've talked to them about it. And it can either be a missed opportunity or one of the most powerful money moves that you can make.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and start off by defining what do we mean by the daycare transition?
So daycare transition is basically what happens, like I mentioned, when your child graduates from full-time daycare or preschool, which is incredibly expensive and only getting more and more expensive every year. Don't ask us how we know that. And then they go into that public school setting. Basically, that big monthly childcare bill, it suddenly disappears.
And look, we're not naive here. We know that there might still be some lingering childcare costs when your child moves into public school kindergarten, but hopefully, compared to full-time daycare, those costs are significantly reduced.
Yeah, in some capacity. For some families, that transition looks different. If you send your kids to private school, for instance, that daycare payment, it's not going to go away. It just transitions into your private school tuition. You don't really feel the financial break in the same way that other families would or might by going into a public school setting.
Exactly. And, in our area, there are some really great school systems. And so probably the vast majority of kids in our children's daycare classes will also transition into public schools. So parents will suddenly find themselves with $1,000 to $2,000 even freed cash that's no longer going out the door.
Yeah, so don't dilly-dally with that. That's why this moment matters so much. We're talking thousands of dollars a year being freed up. You want to make sure you're doing the best to set your family up in the future for success. And if you're intentional, you can use that money to completely change your family's financial story. If you're not, you'll likely see that money just evaporate or disappear into what we call, and many people call, lifestyle creep.
Yeah. So let's talk about what usually happens when families face this daycare transition. The daycare bill goes away and you freed up thousands of dollars in your monthly budget. But most families don't really notice that money because it got absorbed into everyday life.
Yeah. So suddenly that grocery budget, it feels bigger. You can just get whatever you want, right? No.
All the snacks.
Yeah, don't want to do that. Don't fall for that trap. Maybe upgrading a car or saying yes to a nicer vacation.
Maybe you're flying first class suddenly.
And we're not telling you not to, indulge a little bit, not to treat yourself a little bit or your family. It's just about having that conscious mindset that, little by little, if you don't make smart moves at this moment of transition, the extra money that you just freed up will disappear.
Yeah. And those things aren't bad necessarily because it's stuff that you can actually afford, but you just really want to be intentional with your money. This is what we mean when we say lifestyle creep. As soon as your income goes up, well, your lifestyle expands to match it.
Yeah.
Which means you don't actually get ahead even though you could have.
Yeah. So that's why we love the daycare transition. It's such a great opportunity to get ahead and set yourself up for success. And like you mentioned, it's not about never enjoying your money. We want you to be able to enjoy some of that money. We're not
And we'll
saying
talk about a strategy.
Yeah,
to
we're
help
not
you.
saying 100%. You know, you have to put 100% into some other vehicle. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Those numbers may surprise you. It's about being intentional, deciding what percentage you'll use for fun today, what percentage you'll use to set up your family for that future success.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get into the numbers because this is where this gets really exciting, talking about the numbers. Everyone needs to understand how powerful this opportunity is. So let's say your daycare bill for one child is about $1,500 a month.
Sounds about right.
It sounds about right because it is. Multiply that times 12, you're paying $18,000 a year for one child.
For one child.
It's a lot of money. When that bill goes away, it feels like you got a massive raise.
It feels nice, right? But if you redirect even just half of it, $750 a month, again, for one child, $9,000 a year, what could that grow into?
Yeah. Well, I played around with a compound interest calculator, and you can find one of those online.
It's bookmarked on your computer.
Yeah, it is
Love
bookmarked.
this.
I like it. But yeah, if you invest $9,000 a year for 20 years with an estimated 7% average return, you could be looking at close to $400,000 saved for retirement.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
Or you could turn the daycare transition, right, into an opportunity to fund college.
Oh, that would be cool.
For the kids. $9,000 a year. Again, that's the half that we talked about, the 50%, put into a 529 college savings account for, let's say, 12 years. Okay. And that math would come out to about $180,000 by the time your child heads off to college.
Super powerful. And that's just half. If you decided to redirect the whole daycare bill, look out, world. You could be making some serious moves. So what I really love about this, and the best part, is you really don't even feel the squeeze because you're used to seeing that money go out the door.
Yeah.
It's been going out the door for a few years already at this point.
You've conditioned yourself.
Yeah, you're used to living without that extra cash. If you can keep that rhythm going, only this time you're paying yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we've talked about the numbers, the question becomes, how do you actually make this happen in real life and not fall into that lifestyle creep trap, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the first step that needs to happen is you need to actually know your numbers. You need to know what your daycare bill is. And there might be some people who that's an automatic payment. They don't even know.
Yeah.
It just goes out the door. So know what you pay for daycare. Is it $1,500 a month? Is it $1,200 a month? Whatever it is, know that number
And
first.
we talked about this a lot in some of our other podcasts on different topics. You know, it's about educating yourself first of your own financial situation. You need to sit down and understand your numbers before you can actually act in a responsible way.
Exactly.
All right. So step 2 is pick your percentage. Again, we're not saying 100% necessarily. Decide with your partner. Maybe both of y'all come up with one number individually, then compare and see how close you are.
And, this is a perfect opportunity for a money date that we've talked about on several other podcasts before. This is definitely a decision that needs to be made together.
Yes. Maybe it's 50%. Maybe it's 25. Maybe it's somewhere in between, like 37.5%, right? It's not the exact number that matters the most. It's the fact that you're building that conscious choice instead of letting that lifestyle creep decide for you.
Yeah. So step 3, I would say automate it. Make it happen. Don't wait until the end of the month to see what's left over. Set up an automatic transfer.
Yeah, a lot of these steps, they're similar to steps that we talk about in our other podcast. We've talked about the automation and many facets of your financial life. And step 4, don't forget to review it at least each year. Sit down again with your partner. Life changes, incomes change, kids' activities, they get more frequent, they get more expensive as time goes on. You might need to adjust that percentage if you want to keep the habit of saving something from that daycare transition.
Yeah. And again, that's another opportunity each year for a money date with your partner.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure everyone's on the same page. So now let's talk about putting this strategy into practice.
Okay.
So like we mentioned, we haven't even hit this milestone yet.
Yeah.
But just thinking about it and talking about it makes me really excited for our future.
Yeah. In football terms, we're in the game plan phase, right? We're looking at the X's and O's, and we're coming up with a game plan so that once kickoff happens,
we're ready.
Over the weekend, we're ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We are ready.
All right. So, we also realize how important it is to give your money a job. Without a job, it just disappears. Amazon has always been a big one for us. That's where our money goes. And we've sat down and we've looked at that and we've tried to figure out ways to cut back on that. And I think we've done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But just, realize where your money is going. And that's step 1.
Yeah. So moments of transition like this daycare transition happen in other areas of our life too. Yeah. I was sharing a little bit about our prep for this podcast with my brother, and he said, "Oh, we're doing something similar. They don't have kids yet, but they just refinanced their mortgage. And so they're freeing up about $300 off their mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Instead of pocketing that $300, going out to another couple of dinners each month, they're going to keep their mortgage payment what it was. And so they're just paying that extra amount towards their principal.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same idea. They're paying themselves first in the form of home equity.
Yeah. So that's the exact same principle as the daycare transition, right? They were already used to living without that money in their life. And so by keeping the payments the same, they're paying themselves first in the form of equity, and long-term, that's going to shave years off their mortgage. I think you said something like 8 years or something
he
like
did
that.
the math, and he's very smart with their money. So, and so is his wife. They're in good hands. But whether it's daycare or a car loan that you finally paid off or a refinance, these are moments of opportunity. Money that was already budgeted and already out the door can be repurposed into something bigger. Retirement savings, a college fund, home equity. The key is to use those transition points intentionally.
Yeah. So some of you may be thinking, okay, well, that sounds great, but my kids are already out of daycare. It's too late. That ship has sailed. What if you miss the window?
The good news is it's never too late. They say that the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking that ship has sailed, it absolutely has not. You may not have redirected those daycare dollars back then, but you can absolutely recreate that same effect today.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's what that could look like. Say your kids are older and you decide to start saving $500 a month. That's way less than the full daycare bill that we mentioned earlier. Let's say $1,500. So if you invest that for 25 years, that $500 a month, with an average, say, 7% rate of return, that could grow to about $380,000, just shy of $400K for retirement.
Yeah, and that's huge. But let's talk about college savings. Maybe your child is 8 years old. You've got maybe another 9, maybe 10 years before they head off to school.
Uh-huh.
If you invest that $500 a month for 9 years, in a 5 to 9 college savings account, it could still grow to about $70,000. That would be a serious dent in their college tuition.
Oh, yeah. It'd be huge. The point is just, don't beat yourself up about missing the perfect window, starting right at the beginning. The best time to start, like you mentioned, was yesterday. The second best time today. What matters is deciding to act with intention now.
Exactly. So whether you're about to transition out of daycare or you're in the middle of it, you went through it years ago, the principle stays the same. Treat these moments as opportunities. You're already used to living without that money. Keep that rhythm going so you can build something lasting.
Yeah, the transitions are rare. They don't happen often, but they're powerful if you really act intentionally. They don't just happen with daycare either, right?
Yeah.
They happen when you refinance a mortgage, like you just mentioned, paying off a car loan, getting a raise.
Yeah.
Anytime money is freed up, you've got the choice to either let it disappear completely into lifestyle creep or to use it or some of it to pay your future self first.
Yeah. We don't want you to sit back 5 years after daycare transition happened and wonder how you even made the daycare bill happen in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's our challenge for you this week. Pick your number, decide what portion of daycare savings or any other freed up money in your budget that you can redirect and automate it. Treat it like a bill for your future self and pay your future self first. Again, we're here to help. If anyone has questions or if we can help you navigate these transitions, please reach out. You can email our team, info@eaterfw.com. That's ITERFW.com.
Great stuff there. And for all those folks who've gone through this parenting routine already, spot on, absolutely spot on. And again, how can people reach you?
You can email our team, info@eaterfw.com.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us today. Please like, follow, and share this podcast with your friends and family. Until next time, I'm Patrice Sikora.
Thank you for listening to the BamCam podcast with Jack Burnett and Alison Castellano from Eater Financial Wellness, a financial advisory practice at RFG Advisory. To get in touch with us, visit today's show notes or go to our website at www.eaterfinancialwellness.com. That's ITERfinancialwellness.com. And please click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available.
Content here is for illustrative purposes and general information only. It is not legal, tax, or individualized financial advice, nor is it a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any specific security or engage in any specific trading strategy. Information here may be provided in part by third-party sources. These sources are generally deemed to be reliable. However, neither our guest nor RFG Advisory guarantee the accuracy of third-party sources. The views expressed here are those of our guest. They do not necessarily represent those of RFG Advisory, its employees, or its clients. This commentary should not be regarded as a description of advisory services provided by RFG Advisory or performance returns of any client. The views reflected in the commentary are subject to change at any time without notice. Securities offered by registered representatives of Private Client Services, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered by investment advisory representatives of RFG Advisory, LLC, RFG Advisory or RFG, a registered investment advisor. Private Client Services and RFG Advisory are unaffiliated entities. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where RFG Advisory and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. No advisory services may be rendered by RFG Advisory unless a client agreement is in place. RFG Advisory is an SEC-registered investment advisor. SEC registration does not constitute an endorsement of RFG by the Commission, nor does it indicate that RFG or any associated investment advisory representative has attained a particular level of skill or ability.